to order. It's 5:35. So if you call roll. And we
Yes, sir. Counselor Walton, Counselor Wolverson, Counselor Jones,
here.
Counselor Mills, Counselor Harden.
Here.
Okay.
So Jones and Harden here.
Here.
All right. So we do not have a quorum, but we can go ahead and discuss under new business. And then we'll have to go back and approve the minutes. But under new business, let's see. Which one?
The task force, old business. Old business.
Oh, wow, I'll have- Okay, so 170620, request for consideration, the joint task force. We're going to carry that over.
That is correct. Chief Ross is out of town on his chief's conference.
Okay, we'll carry that over without objection. Moving to new business 080721, request for consideration of a downtown entertainment district. So this would be you.
I had a question, Dr. Jones. We sent it to Counselor Walton. I don't know if I saw a response. Are we supposed to set a public hearing for that at the next council meeting?
I didn't think we did.
We don't have to set one for that item? Okay.
Okay, Miss Andrus.
Okay, so this is something that Andy and I had talked about looking at doing in our previous term. And Alex and I were having lunch at Soho Social and got into a conversation with the owner there. And this is something that we think would benefit. And I also had a separate conversation with Captain Sutton. He actually brought it up to me at about the same time. It just kind of coincided, so it's all kind of happening at the same time. And so what an entertainment district is, basically it allows a ABC licensee to sell alcohol. You can, if you, for example, in Birmingham, you have to carry a branded cup, but you could leave an establishment, you could leave the establishment, stay within a certain area that we define with that alcoholic beverage. Now, if there is a retailer within that district that does not want you to come in with that alcoholic beverage, they can prohibit you from coming in. So they have control over their own businesses. With Mike's help, we pulled up the Alabama code and I've talked with the Mountain Brook City Attorney, the Hoover City Attorney. I've talked with Daryl Twin in Birmingham, and I've talked to Jeff Downs, who's the city manager in Vestavia, to kind of get an idea of what everyone is doing in their different municipalities. And it's a little different. And I talked to David Faulkner, our state representative, and this particular code mentions class 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 municipalities, and then class 7 and 8, or rather class 8, but we are a class 6. However, we do have a downtown redevelopment authority, and we do have an arts council, and that allows us, particularly the downtown redevelopment authority allows us to establish an entertainment district. Now, this code only allows us to pass 2. So we talked about the different areas of town that we want to include.
Has 2 areas.
It has two
entertainment districts.
That's right.
Oh, so it's not just one. You
It's
can
not just one,
designate
you
different
can-
places.
and
Okay.
for this code, you can do 2. Now, what David did for each of the other municipalities that I mentioned, because they were not included in this code, because they were a class 6 or class 7 municipality. And for example, Mountain Brook did one for all 3 villages. Those are 3 different districts. So he passed a state resolution that allowed Mountain Brook
To do 3.
We need 3.
So what we discussed doing, because we did, and we felt like maybe 4, because maybe Brookwood's gonna come on.
Yeah,
Whatever
that's
happens to
true.
Brookwood, we want to already have that.
You gotta have at least 4 licenses.
So you have to have 4 businesses that have ABC licenses in each of those districts.
Yes.
Okay.
And Mike,
Qualified presently.
Which 2?
Would be downtown or
Edgewood.
Right, because West Homewood just has 3.
well, I was talking with somebody about that, and what's that place in the building, the 186 building? Yeah, that's 4 right there.
Oh,
they do have 4.
do they sell alcohol?
I do saw.
Okay, I did not know that. I
So
thought
they,
that
because when we were talking about that, we thought there were just 3.
Yeah, they saw.
But if you,
I
does seed sell, does seed sell?
Seeds used to sell here.
I don't think they do
So
anymore.
they don't, So maybe there is only three.
So you got, well,
Ash.
Pizzeria GM, Ash, there's
Little
Little London.
Little London.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
Little London.
But however, that being said, because yes, we were having this
So
conversation.
we need to work with Faulkner.
We still need to work, and I've been in conversation with him, and so we'll just get him as soon as he gets down to Montgomery in February to pass a local act for us to be able to. But we wanted to start with the downtown district, and then it's up to the council. You know, Andy and I talked today about, when Alex and I talked about it with we kind of talked about starting with downtown. Andy and Alex talked on Monday when I wasn't here about going ahead and adding in Edgewood. And then with David's, local act, then we can add West Homewood and, but I'm also, I'm okay with whatever you guys want to do. I'm also in favor of just doing downtown for now, but that's up to you guys. So, okay, so that's my presentation.
So let me ask this. So currently Mountain Brook has it for
The three.
Mountain Brook. Well, they have like 5 villages now, but English, Mountain Brook Village, and Crestline, the 3 of those.
Yeah.
And then Vestavia just has it for City Center, or do they not have it?
I don't know what they have. Oh, maybe Rocky Ridge. I think Rocky Ridge is also.
Oh, like where,
yeah.
what's his name?
Oh,
That's probably
and-
why he was talking about it.
hang on,
This is other restaurant.
Okay, maybe 3. Maybe Barbara Heights, maybe.
Oh,
And then
yeah, yeah,
also,
yeah.
I think Liberty Park is asking about it right now, but according to Jeff. that's what it is.
Yeah, I don't think. Well, no, they do now. Okay. And I know Hoover does.
Yes.
They have multiple ones.
Can I get clarification beyond the cup, the drinking?
Yeah.
walking outside? What else does the entertainment?
Okay, so what, like, in what Daryl said in Birmingham, for example, if you're at Pepper Place and you are leaving, they have a particular, you have to have a branded cup. to leave.
The tour. Or one.
Okay, you have to
think
have a
we're
branded
building-
cup to leave that business
Yeah.
and then say.
And that'll be open container.
And you can
Yeah.
carry your drink over to
Within
the other side.
Right.
Yeah.
exactly.
within the
Now,
area.
let me tell you another thing that we don't want, because David said, let's make sure that we sort of, okay, so the loophole with the one that he has in Mount Brook is pig is in their district. And so somebody has bought a case of beer and brought it from the pig and brought it to City Hall and set up shop and drank it from City Hall with a case of beer. So we need to that's not the intent of the district.
I won't do it again.
Right, exactly. I think there was some entertainment depth the last. Anyway, so we need to, when we do pass our local, we need to make sure that loophole is closed. That we-
So
right,
like,
right.
if it was Edgewood, you could go in
The
ostensibly the Chevron,
Exactly.
buy all the wine they have.
That's right.
And
And
go
set up shop
have
in
a
the
parking
corner,
lot
And
party.
that's not
Okay.
the point.
Yes, no, that's
We
not
don't
what you
wanna
want to
go
have
Sam's Lot.
happen.
We're not gonna Sam's Lot.
No.
So,
Let me say one thing. Well, then I'm not present for his, taking other establishments. Take it out of the establishment, stay within the district. Can't go to another.
okay, could go into retail.
You can just be like, you could be out on the sidewalk.
You may not enter
Check.
a license premise with an open container or a closed container without one.
Okay, well, what had told me about.
From social to across the street, take a drink.
Okay. Well, and what Whit had told me for Mountain Brook was, for example, if I owned a dress shop on 18th Street and I didn't want you coming in, I could
Right.
prohibit you from coming in.
Yes.
before it's there.
Please
But,
leave your
but, but I also,
Yeah, each business can control what comes.
Right.
Maybe see regulations.
You can't take it into another ABC establishment.
Okay, well, we're not gonna make any progress on this since we don't have a quorum. I was hoping somebody would
Show
sneak
up.
in so we can vote on this, but I mean, I think we'll just have to carry it out. Well, we can't really do
no,
anything.
Andy and Julie are both parking right now.
And I hate that we have to,
Andy and Julie are parking right now. They're
Okay.
parking at first.
okay.
Well, and the way I envisioned this when I put this on the agenda was that I wanted to just start with downtown. So, which is no residential. That's my opinion, but.
That's
y'all
not
can
my
disagree with
opinion,
me.
because people in Edgewood have always thought that would be a good idea for businesses.
What he said, do it. I mean, if it's just about hanging out around, it's really not a place to hang out. It's
Well-
right in front of the meeting establishment.
And let me give you another example that came directly from HPD. They want, like, for example, when it's We Love Homewood Day, and people are outside, enjoying themselves, they want to not have to worry about whether or not people have alcohol in their cups. I mean, he specifically said that to me. So
So that
it
would
would
be,
be something
But
for.
that's one time a year, and, I mean, I'm just thinking about people walking around.
no, July 4th is
I don't,
But like I said, my opinion was,
Take a list of that.
saying if we have entertainment district, would it encourage more of it?
Just convince you to do that. and then entertain. Spending about one half an hour.
and which I assume if it was in Edgewood, it would not be into the neighborhood. I assume the defined area would be,
I'd
Like
let
just
the
the
record
business
reflect that
area.
Mr. Gwaltney is in the house, so I'm handing over my
he's
chair,
passing the baton.
do you want?
my chair duties back to Chairman Gwaltney.
Walter's been chairing, I've been talking about entertainment districts
And we
and.
probably need to give you an agenda.
So,
So we couldn't take any action on anything, so I know that 17, the old business, we're gonna carry it over, what the mayor recommended, so if you wanna, we've been talking about 08/07/21. So,
We still have to read the minutes. Oh, Wolverton's here too. Public safety part.
Just took us a minute to get.
we have a quorum now.
Because Wolverton's on this committee.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so we're on 08/07/21, request for consideration of a downtown entertainment district. Why, Anderson Waltman, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
What has been the discussion so far?
I just brought them up to speed on what the other municipalities do, and we're talking about the districts and what we would consider our Homewood. And the discussion right now is, do we go forward with just downtown or downtown and Edgewood? That's not really-
And I talked to President White a little bit about this last Monday afterwards, and we were allowed to do 2, as long as we've got 4 ABC licensees in those districts. So I would prefer to go ahead and do both after talking to at least 2 merchants in Edgewood. And it provides the police with some added protections for handling those types of issues. It also provides the merchants here for their ABC licenses to walk out with a beverage during We Love Homewood Day or something like that. So I think it's a good thing. Just the street party does occur down there and other events. So
Well, I will just say.
Let
that
that
just give it to one thing, what's wrong with it? Street fest, we have our own festivals, and we have.
So-
Well, and
we
that
have
was.
considerations for
right.
that.
And that
And
is
so
why,
The goal is to get all 3, in my opinion.
well, we
I mean,
are. That
But
is,
we just
are.
gotta
But we
work
have to
through
wait
that.
for that.
Whatever we can do, I don't really care. I've just gotten from Edgewood, they have always wanted something like this.
We are,
Yeah.
we are definitely for sure.
We're not leaving out
going-
West Homewood, for sure.
And
I don't think
Brookwood,
there's,
you
Yes.
know,
I mean, I make sure argue that we have a better setup already because of the parking.
I don't think you can currently apply for it if you don't have board license.
and we don't want you drinking, and we don't want you drinking. in
Little
the park.
London, Ash Street, Gym.
And also, can't you not drink it, we don't want you drinking in the park. per
You
se,
can't
right?
drink in the park.
Yeah, you can drink in the park.
Yeah.
Street in front of the park.
Of course I was-
There wouldn't be parking.
But I agree, that is the
They
goal.
fall inside the-
What's that?
They fall inside the half-mile limit.
Well, okay, and if we, but also if we pass the local act, we can define our own
Yeah.
area.
Um,
No?
So
No, okay. Okay.
I think we can have additional districts, is that correct?
Yes.
If we, go to the legislature.
That's
Well, we can decide to just do downtown Homewood and leave the other 2 to local act, to the apples. And Brookwood to 3.
Well, we can't do Brookwood at this point. Because we're not licensees.
Can we leave it open
You
for
could-
future, to add future or?
Probably not. I mean, you probably have to have the 4 licensees before you get it approved.
Next,
Yeah, but you can't do one that's not, doesn't have, currently have
Four
the,
licenses.
right.
Talking about Brookwood, which we added, with the local act, we'd be adding.
Can't do it unless you have four licenses.
Okay, so that would be the trigger. So Brooke would have to wait.
That's all I have.
I didn't think about that.
Okay.
Well, I guess we'll have to adopt the same thing. I think that it'd be good for all the businesses here. So, if we get you two, let's get to it. I just.
Yeah, I think we definitely.
But just as long as we're pushing.
Yeah.
For a local one.
To add the third one.
No, I didn't think there were 4 licensees over there, but I forgot about that.
Well, I didn't.
I didn't realize they sold alcohol.
The last day or two.
I knew they were there. I just didn't realize they
Just
sold
out of
alcohol.
curiosity, does it specify, I didn't read the more detailed version of the act, but is it on premise, which AB's license? Any license?
Yes.
Okay. It's on premise or off premise.
So what's the first step? Do we just need to,
I would think we would need to move it on to council with a recommendation from the committee.
No, I'm sorry. Licensing, retail liquor license.
Is that 003? Right now.
So that means not just wine, beer,
It's on here. I don't think so.
liquor. See, I think, because I think if you have a liquor license for, I think,
I think it's.
No, what's on the retro? I know they want one.
Yeah.
Well, regardless, we will get this all done. by
but
next week.
can't we make a motion that these are the 3 districts that we've identified and that's what we would recommend, and then we're gonna have to go through
Contingent
the
upon
legislature.
for the other
I
two.
mean, I think we need to just establish this is what we would like to
Okay.
forward on, and then we'll have to work out the logistics of.
I would entertain a motion based upon councilor, certification, sorry.
Yeah,
So
that'd be
shifting
my
gears
motion.
to Council,
it's not just a recommendation, it's a motion.
you're on the committee.
Yeah.
Second this motion.
Sorry, it's my apology.
So Jonas, show me again what your motion was. I'm sorry. Jonas.
It's to recommend entertainment districts in the 3 identified areas, downtown, Edgewood, and West Homewood, and work through the logistics of how that would happen, similar to what Mountain Brook went through.
The only way it can happen is to-
Okay, so that's what we're requesting as part of this motion.
And I will
You
be,
can't do that until you have one line by that legislature. You have two. So
Can we,
if you want to do something about substance,
Yeah.
just designate whatever. That's- You're wishing that you did the legislative part until you get, you can't have it.
So you're recommending, Kendrick, if we go ahead,
No, I'm just recommending that you can only have 2 now. You can't
So
have
we-
3 unless the.
But see, the reason I'm saying 3 is that we need to identify which 2 are under this category, because we need to confirm those 4 are correct in West Homewood. You see what I'm saying?
No.
Okay, well,
If you're proposing that you adopt 3, you can't do that.
I know. What I'm saying is if we make a motion to do downtown and West Homewood, and then we find out 4 of them do not have a liquor license, and we can't do that
Well,
district.
Your recommendation is not completed, that you have to define the area. that you want to do. That's up to you.
in my mind,
It's capped at a half a mile by half.
Right.
What is your-
it's just me, in my mind, I think we start with downtown, it's easy to define. We pass it and then we work through the rest of the state. That's what I'm thinking.
yeah, so we passed it. Our recommendation from committee would be that we move forward with designating downtown as an entertainment district. And the committee's desire is that we as a city pursue legislative change to allow for 2 additional entertainment
Correct, that's a
districts.
good, yeah, that'd be my motion.
There we go.
The second part, that's got to define the area. That map that shows you where a half a mile by half a mile is. You got to define the area. before you adopt it.
Can we do that before council on Monday in the resolution?
I'm just saying
Or is
that
it
it's an
ordinance?
ordinance. You got to define the area.
Yeah.
So whoever you want to do that.
I think you've got to include, Real Rosemary to Little Donkey to,
Here's a map. Somebody just needs to draw the line so I can.
the next stretch.
In the ordinance.
I will.
You'll draw
run
it.
this
Well, he's-
map.
Mike's already done, he's already, we are able to pick up real rosemary and
Oh, okay,
little
You
donkey
can go from here to-
and, yeah.
yes.
Go where you want.
So
Yeah. Oh, did
don't have-
you write down that, Sal?
No, I don't think they sell alcohol. Still hamburgers.
They used to.
yeah, I don't think they do anymore.
I
The
don't
tap
think they do.
they can for a while.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound bad. Depends on the day. I would recommend. I would recommend let's use these boundaries that are in the blue line, since that.
Yeah. We do not want that.
We can carve, so it doesn't have to be a square, we can carve off that edge for additional,
See that, those-
cut off the residential piece. I've got a sharp.
What do we need to do? To find the,
So we utilize that map, cutting off the residential.
okay,
That's where, that's where.
okay, well, that's my motion,
That's your motion.
pending the circle that's gonna be drawn
Did
around.
did your motion change from what you just spelled out?
Yeah.
It did change?
The mo-
Yeah, okay, the motion is to
That's maybe that's.
create a downtown entertainment district within the city of Homewood, within the assigned area that is on this downtown map here, with the desire to look at 2 additional districts that would be created later through legislative action.
wanted to find the hours. I want you to do what you want to do, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Are you here, Miss? I've been here. What time did you get here?
So we got to find a district.
Would say,
You want these covered limitations?
Yeah.
All right. I think we need to work on all the hours, and then carry it over till we have everything worked out.
Okay. So you're withdrawing your motion?
I'm withdrawing my motion.
Okay.
all right,
We're carrying this over.
Let's see, we just need to get with Mr. Kendrick and determine.
all the requirements, yeah.
Right.
All right, so we'll carry over 08/07/21, 15/07/21, request to authorize the mayor to sign an agreement with mutual aid with the city of Hills. Chief Nick Hill.
Agreed to an automatic mutual aid agreement with everybody. Automatic mutual aid agreement with Vestavia. They need it for the insurance services, so we maintain our ISO rating of 1. And how it's different now is now when we get on a call, everybody's deployed. If we realize we're gonna be shorthanded, we call and ask them to pick up medical calls or whatever. In this instance, as soon as we get dispatched on a fire alarm, they immediately get dispatched as well, which sends with them a engine company with 3 personnel and a battalion car. So that puts 4 more personnel on every fireground. So it's good for their ISO rating, it's good for ours as well. And we may, if this goes well, maybe reaching out to Rocky Ridge. And additionally, in this agreement, it allows us to share vehicles, frontline apparatus, engines, ambulances, that sort of thing, if we ever go to transports. And the reason is that way you don't have to have as many reserve apparatus on standby, because you get credit for all the apparatus that you have. You get partial credit for any that Vestavia has if this agreement goes through. So this will help us. Does that mean Chief Hill, if the call comes in the Hopper Heights that our guys go to it? Is that what you're saying? They would. We do that right now anyway. We just don't have an agreement written down. If they call, we go. If they call us.
We just go.
Right. But we've never refused, and
Okay, they have to call us to ask us to go to the hotline.
they do.
I thought you said
Sort
they
of
just
a
go.
funny story. So I was in the 4th floor conference room eating lunch about a year ago. I saw this black plume of smoke over Mount Brook. I called engine letter 4 and I said, "Hey, y'all need to get ready, switch over mutual aid. Y'all have to go to Mount Brook." And before Mount Brook even called us, we were already kind of easing over that way. And 30 seconds later, Mount Brook called us. And so that's how we function right now. The only difference is they don't have to call. We automatically go. but we've never refused when they call.
So this solidifies.
Right, this is just a formal document that says we will go when, as soon as they get dispatched. We have that right now for them with Brookwood Hospital only. Right now, every time we get dispatched to Brookwood Hospital, they start coming this way.
Make a motion that to authorize the mayor to sign an agreement with mutual aid with the city of Vestavia.
Can I ask one quick question? Is there any way in this, and you'll probably tell me no, that we can eventually utilize them for assistance with transit?
Transport,
Yeah, transport.
we already do that. It won't be automatic. And when I talked to Chief Green, he said, look, I'll help you as long as I can. He said, but when I get down to my last unit, he said, I'm not sending anybody. So,
Well, I just think of those times where you guys get tied up waiting for RPS. And you have to leave someone for long periods of time. It'd be nice to have at least an option.
right. And we've actually discussed some options with RPS about paying them a fee to just have an ambulance here. They won't even discuss it. They don't have the manpower. I will say our potentials are doing a good job when they get dispatched, immediately calling, asking for the location of the ambulance. I know not long ago, we had a pretty serious call, and I called RPS or dispatch and said, tell them to send whoever they got. We have enough paramedics. I need 4 wheels and a cot. So that's kind of the dire need we've been in lately, because they want to send us an ALS unit, which is a truck with an ambulance.
Right.
We have paramedics. We have the extra equipment. We need the 4 wheels and the cot.
You know,
Right.
And so you said y'all already have one of these agreements of mutual aid with Mountain Brook?
We do not.
You do not, y'all just,
Mountain Brook doesn't have mutual agreements with anyone.
anybody, okay.
that's what-
As far as the geographic reach of the mutual aid, they cover all of the stadium or specific?
It would cover all of Vestavia. If they had a fire and they call and they get dispatched, we'll get dispatched automatically. Most of the time what happens is, because we do the same thing. If we call them, they're not coming to the fire. We're gonna dispatch them when we get dispatched. But we're gonna put everybody there, and we'll probably cancel them, or we'll send them to standby at Station 2 to pick up medical calls. But as soon as they get dispatched, we get credit for them.
So if it's out in Liberty Park, you're being there.
We're still going. So,
Is there a bottom threshold, like you said, Vestavia says that we're on our last meeting, we're not sending somebody, do we have some sort of?
yeah, right, so for example, you can only imagine the things that happen when everybody gets hit by a tornado.
Right.
And every unit's tied up, nobody's coming because
They're all
they don't
busy.
have anybody. That's just the reality of it. So that's why mutual aid is important, because we rarely all get hit by the same tornado, or we rarely get hit by the same fires on the same day. We're very fortunate in that. But could it happen? Sure. Yeah, that could happen.
And then is this,
When is our next review for ISO? It doesn't last a long time.
Not as long as it used to. So I expect us to get one in January and February of 2022.
2022 is our next review.
That's what I'm expecting. We
What
don't
was the
really
one
have,
before that?
8.
yeah, but I think it was 18 or 19.
So that-
They're
Okay,
really
I thought
picking up the
I thought
pace.
they lasted much longer than that.
Yeah, I think ISO wants to ramp it up to make their stuff be more relevant.
22.
All right, so we have a motion on the table from Councilor Harden. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Wolverton. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Ayes have it, 5-0. That item goes to the council. Sweet. Under old business 170620, request for consideration of a joint task force between Homewood Police and considering policies of use of force, related matters, and make recommendations as needed. Councilor Pickla.
We carried
That was carried
That's
that.
carried
We
over.
did carry. The mayor
over.
carried that
You
over.
said
Yeah.
My apologies.
So we just need the minutes approved too.
Okay, at this time, I'll entertain a motion to dispense the reading and approve the minutes.
motion?
Councilor Wiltshire makes the motion. Second by Councilor Harden. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. All those opposed, nay. Ayes have it, 5-0. And with that, public safety is adjourned.